members like Tex Watson and Ron Luff lose their sense of morality while immersed in a cult. Some scientists believe our brains are wired to be susceptible.
Well, first of all, the cult phenomenon is a group phenomenon by which individuals are focused towards a feeling of belongingness and meaningfulness.
Dr. Michael Persinger is a neuroanatomist at Laurentian University in Ontario, Canada. He believes that the human brain has a weakness in the temporal lobe, the region responsible for making decisions. This weakness makes us all vulnerable to the influence of another.
Brain activity effectively is a combination of electromagnetic patterns and chemical interactions.
Persinger believes that by sending an electromagnetic field through a subject's temporal lobe, he can create a micro-seizure in the brain. This seizure can recreate the feeling of a religious experience or a feeling of belonging.
We basically imitate what happens within the brain itself during a mystical experience.
As the magnetic field is sent through a participant's brain, Dr. Persinger sees a significant change in brain activity. The subject may experience what can be referred to as a higher state of consciousness.
When you stimulate it excessively, the individuals feel transformed. They feel as if they're a new person, they're born again. They may feel this amount of social cohesion, that they belong to a new group, a new identity.
Results from the study suggest that moments of group conviction and belonging are simply manifestations of an overstimulated temporal lobe, that cult devotion might just be a symptom of micro-seizures in the brain, and that perhaps people with an overactive temporal lobe are more vulnerable to manipulation. But once a cult member feels the euphoria of belonging, how can a cult leader capitalize? How do you convince a rational person to throw away their moral values? Dr. Persinger continues his research into the cult mind by looking at how a leader's speech patterns can influence the thoughts of others. Persinger suggests that there is another flaw in the human brain that may also make us susceptible: trust. He claims that in the first instant we hear any statement, our brain accepts it as true. It is in the following moments when the brain reviews the statement and ultimately chooses whether it is true or false. This is called the refutation process.
When you pursue truth or falsehood, you must accept everything first as truth, and then you must refute it. If something interferes with that refutation process, you're more likely to take a falsehood and accept it as true.
Is it possible to make someone accept what they know to be false as true? Persinger believes it is. He fits his subjects with a headpiece that emits a magnetic field to their brain. The subject is expected to answer true or false to a simple series of questions. Despite already knowing the correct answers, the magnetic fields interrupt the brain's normal course of reasoning, disrupting the refutation process. The results are unnerving.
And what we have found is that when you apply these weak magnetic fields, certain frequencies result in people accepting a previous falsehood as if it were true. Specifically, if the field was applied during the refutation process.
Can a cult leader create the same kind of distraction for the brain with a charismatic speech? Can the performance of someone like Charles Manson interrupt a person's ability to know what is true and false? How vulnerable is an individual's free will?
Sincerity and honesty trick them every time. I said, well, sincere and honesty, I never tried that.
Start an argument, start a statement, produce a tremendous distraction, something that's totally off the wall, so the person does not have a chance to refute it, and they're likely to take that falsehood and accept it as a truth. And as I understand from the descriptions of Manson, that was notorious for his particular profile.